Time check, it's 7 p.m. here in Accra, Ghana. I am Bright Nanakwasi Amani, and this is Newsnight, the headlines. Communications Ministry set to block all cards that have not been re-registered as the 30th September deadline elapses. Lands Ministry directs Forestry Commission to immediately halt activities of Akwanta Mining Limited's operation in the Nimri Tunnel Forest Reserve in the Amenfi West municipality of the Western region. A business politician and a businessman, Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum, urges government to support indigenous companies in the country. And on the international front, talks are underway in Burkina Faso to resolve a tense situation as soldiers attempted to stage a mutiny. Thank you for your time with us here on the news tonight. Now, the deadline for SIM card re-registration elapses today, September 30, 2022 in July. The Minister for Communications, Esla Owusu-Akufo, in her words, reluctantly extended the deadline for SIM card registration. My colleague Shadrach Odamie-Jare visited some centers earlier in the day and came through with this report.
This is the MTN office. Earlier, I was on the Osu Oxford Street where we saw some people seated at the Vodafone office and then the MTN office, since they are almost at the same place. But from those sides, the people there are not so much like we saw in the previous days. But here we have quite a number. I spoke to one woman early on who says she came in around 5:30 a.m. and after 6 minutes after 12, she was catered for. So that is about 6 to 7 hours later after her arrival. But from here, you can see a very tall line. You have the first phase from this side, and then you have the second phase where people are still in queue waiting for their turn. And then now it doesn't look like everything is happening inside the office, because we have registration personnel here outside who are trying to cater for the people queuing. So there's been issues earlier about network lagging, but now they've tried to ameliorate the whole situation where we have different personnel situated at different vantage points catering for all the people you are seeing here in the queue. What time did you come here today?
Around 3
a.m.
3 a.m.
And what have they told you so far?
Oh, man. Almost network noon.
Almost network.
Network.
Say na ko wie say.
Enchomo.
Nti say am to me en register mo there kra.
Dabi kra.
Na why your Ghana card?
My
why your Ghana card dada?
Yeah.
Nti who try say bedru so. But try first say.
Frame Nate.
Okay, so Nate says he came here at 3 a.m. today and he's been waiting to get his SIM card re-registered.
9.
Ano pay ya. Now, oba e na dey na mo ka kire.
Yeah, me who sell no. Baby I go see me bisa sell asoyin na me omo kire be da bi continence. Twen.
Content them there.
Kakra.
According to government, this re-registration is in a bid to harmonize data in different sectors of the economy. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Communications have cautioned that unregistered SIM cards will be deactivated for failure to re-register within time. Shadrach Odamie-Jare, Metro News, Accra.
All right, and now away from that, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has directed the Forestry Commission to immediately halt the activities of Akwanta Mining Limited's operation in the Nimri Tunnel Forest Reserve in the Amenfi West municipality of the Western region. A statement from the ministry said, while the mining company has a lease to undertake mining operations in some parts of Samreboy, the company has no mineral right to undertake any mining operations in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. Records available to the ministry according to the statement shows that while Akonta Mining Limited has a mining lease to undertake mining operations in some parts of Samreboy outside the forest reserve, the company has no mineral right to undertake any mining operations in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. The ministry said its records show that Akonta Mining on August 25, 2022 applied for a mining lease to undertake mining operations in the said forest reserve. The lands minister further directed the Forestry Commission to ensure that the company does not carry out any operation in the forest and to take the necessary action against any person found culpable in the matter. And in a related story, Occupy Ghana has asked the Lands Ministry to only stop Akonta Mining Limited from mining, but to go ahead and prosecute officials of the company for flouting mining laws. The mining firm Akonta Mining Limited to stop operations in the Tano Nimri Forest. Now, this was after 2 persons sustained gunshot wounds at the Samreboy in the Western region after a section of the youth reportedly prevented personnel of Akonta Mining Limited from sending more mining equipment into the Tano Forest Reserve. A statement issued by the group said even though the reaction is laudable, there were also some concerns raised in the communique, such as the fact that the said company is undertaking the mining operations without a mining lease. Occupy Ghana says this is enough grounds to pursue the case in accordance with the law. The mine is owned by MPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Entry Bo-Siakon, popularly known as Chairman Muntumi. Meanwhile, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu Jinapo, has charged metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives from major mining areas across Ghana to lead the fight against illegal mining. At a meeting with them in Kumasi, the minister called for a collective effort aimed at bringing the activities of Galamseyers to a halt.
Even though mining in forest areas and river bodies is prohibited by the government of Ghana, it looks like illegal mining is in full swing in parts of the country. An anti-Galamsey task force dubbed Operation Halt 2 has within the week arrested and seized some excavators belonging to illegal miners in parts of the Ashanti and Eastern regions. But the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources cannot fathom how excavators and other mining equipment are moved to the forest on the blind side of the security apparatus, chiefs and the people in the community, including MMDCEs. During a meeting with the MMDCEs in Kumasi, in whose jurisdictions illegal mining activities are pervasive, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources charged them to help come to grips with the canker.
I'm just returning from Mansour Edubia, and I went to visit on behalf of the president the military men and women whom we deployed to that district to clear the place of illegal small-scale mining. And I have witnesses, my deputy ministers were with me, media people were with me. We went to a Galamsey site which has been rid of illegal small-scale mining. And I should tell you, the pervasiveness of that mining activity, that illegal mining activity, and the wanton destruction of the landscape of that area. And as a matter of fact, the number of, I would call acres, the number of hectares that have been mined out, it tells me a few things. First, is that this operation did not begin a year, 2 or 3 ago, because we have huge dug out pits, which I have not, I mean, if I've seen those kinds of pits before, I've probably seen them in large-scale mining operations such as Goldfields or Anglo Gold or Newmont and the rest. It tells you that this is a place which has been excavated or mined out for many, many years. I'm not suggesting in any way that this should be done in connivance with these officials or these stakeholders or these actors, but certainly they ought to know about that kind of operation. So is it that I cannot also come to terms with the fact that the political head of the place, the DCE or NCE or whatever it may be, will feign ignorance of such an operation. It is too massive for it to be said that the various key stakeholders in respect of such mining operations will not be aware of it. I am not the person to talk about the adverse consequences of illegal mining, particularly as it relates to water bodies of our country, the water bodies of our country. I think it is known to all of us.
The minister vowed that those arrested will be prosecuted, assuring Ghanaians that the Akufo-Addo-led administration is committed to fighting against illegal mining. Henry Kwesi Bedu, Metro News.
Let's bring you more update on what is happening here in Ghana concerning illegal mining. And Henry Kwesi Bedu was with the Lands Minister and joins us via Zoom for a conversation. Henry, good evening to you. Do you think we can win this fight? All right, Henry Kwesi Bedu is my colleague here at Metro TV. He was on a tour with the Lands Minister in Kumasi just yesterday when they were touring some parts of areas where there is devastation as a result of illegal mining, known here in Ghana as Galamsey, and he joined us on phone for a conversation and want to find out if Ghana can really win the fight against Galamsey. Henry, good evening to you. Like I asked earlier, are we going to win the fight against Galamsey? Is it possible from what you saw from the grounds?
For me, from where I sit, I think we've lost it, or we are losing it. That is what I think is happening. From what has transpired throughout last week, through this week, and what happened today, I think that we are losing it. Just within this week, there's been close to about 50 arrests in relation to illegal mining activities. On Monday, some arrests were made in the Amansia South district. Some excavators were seized. That was Thursday. Some 24 illegal miners. You know, the video that went viral this morning of a gun battle between some illegal miners.
Yes.
And also a task force that has been set up by the Ochihene in Chebi to ensure that they see that the operations of these illegal miners are brought to a halt. So some 24 persons were arrested. That is by the task force together with the soldiers who are charged to ensure they clamp down on illegal mining activities. Today, 16 more persons were arrested. We're told 24 persons were arrested, and that is some of them, about 8 of them were identified to be farmers, and they were granted bail. The 16 were put before court and they have been remanded by the court in Chebi. But from where I sit, government, yes, initially from Operation Halt, one Operation Vanguard, were doing its bit to ensure that we win the fight against illegal mining. But it looks like we've lost it. These persons who were charged got to a point that they were compromised. They were taking bribes from the illegal miners. They were giving them money. And I saw a story where some soldiers were the ones who were, that is, manning this illegal mining site for people to undertake this illegality. So it's quite a dicey situation. We are doing, Operation Halt 2. What has been the progress? Have we seen the turbidity level of the river bodies, like River Pra, River Ankobra, get into its natural state? We are not seeing that. The turbidity levels are still high. There's pollution. There's destruction of the environment. We saw the visuals that we showed our listeners or our viewers yesterday. There is a lot of pollution. Some vast lands have been devastated by the activities of these illegal miners. As the minister has said, it looks like the chiefs, the MMDCs, that's the Municipal Metropolitan and district chief executives together with the police administration in these areas, the local assemblies and all the traditional leaders are aware of what is happening in their various jurisdictions where illegal mining activities are pervasive. But what are they doing about it? Are they helping government to ensure that we bring a halt of the activities of illegal miners? That seems not to be happening because these people are also making monies from the illegal mining activities. It is pervasive in Ashanti region. This afternoon when we had a conversation, there are reports that shows that out of the 16 regions of the country, over 13, that is 13 out of 16 regions, are regions that have received reports of illegal mining activities. So it is getting worse by the day. And this, as government is trying to find confiscated or sophisticated means to ensure that they put a halt to the activities. These illegal miners are also finding ways to outwit the police, the task force that has been put together by government so that they can undertake the illegal mining activities, because now they are doing it far away from the communities where illegal mining activities are happening. You get to a point that the soldiers or the military men would have to walk for close to like 1 hour to get to the forest where this illegal mining activities is happening. And you saw the statement that was issued by the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry, directing the Forestry Commission to ensure that the illegal mining activity that has been undertaken somewhere in the Western North region, we are picking up information that that particular license was picked by the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Chairman Wontumi. He has a license to mine in that area, but not in the forest, because the minister, together with government, has put a halt on mining in forest areas and also in river bodies. So that is what is about. But if you ask me, I think that we are a long, long way away from winning a fight against illegal mining. That's what I'll say.
Now, Harry, you have been reported on illegal mining for some time now. Now, you've been to the western region, you've been to the Ashanti region and the eastern region and some other places. There's a video circulating on social media where we have a cocoa farmer saying that he owns the land and that he can do to it whatever he pleases. Now, tell me, what really is the reason why we are not able to find this illegal mining currently?
Right. Well, in relation to the cocoa farmer you ask, I am thinking that these cocoa farmers have been impoverished for a very long time. They think that currently, what is the cost of what is the price of a bag of cocoa? If a farmer has, let's say, about 4 acres of cocoa farm and is able to harvest about 20 bags of cocoa, how much is he being given as a farmer when we deduct his effort, or how if he's not strong enough and he has to acquire the services of laborers to weed around his cocoa farm, to do the spraying, to apply fertilizers, to ensure that it gets the maximum yield, to acquire that 20 bags, to get, let's say, maybe 600 Ghana cedis per bag or something. By tomorrow, there will be a new cocoa price out for these farmers. But they think that the monies that they are being given by government is not enough. And we heard a farmer say in the video that he's been able to construct a 2-bedroom apartment from leasing portions of his cocoa farm to these illegal miners. Right. So it is about a matter of government increasing the price of a bag of cocoa to the standard in which the farmers will say that, yes, if I have a cocoa farm, it is better than selling or giving out my farm to illegal.
Thank you so much. I know you've been on tour with the lands minister and you have a lot of information. We'll come back to you later for more update on what is happening concerning our lands and Galamsey here in Ghana. Thank you so much. All right, for matters of Galamsey now. Politician and businessman Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum has lashed out at the many powers given to presidents of Ghana. In an address on Facebook, he questioned the need for inclusiveness. If one person is given excessive powers, he fears it will collapse the democracy the country has been enjoying.
As we've gone around and around and around, and we have replaced this one-party rule with one person in charge to a one-person rule, one president, one person rule under this 1992 Constitution. under this present constitution, the one we are running now. So now, instead of the one-party state, we have one person, the President of the Republic of Ghana, who has more powers than most presidents in the world, including the President of the USA. So, as Ghanaians say, did we go or did we come? We've replaced one thing with another. And what is in place now is not helping us. So we must remove it. We must change it.
The Ghana Police Service has arrested 16 suspects in connection to a shooting incident at Asamang Tamfo in the Eastern region. A video making rounds on social media show men believed to be involved in illegal mining in a gun battle with authorities at Assam Tamfo in the scary shooting. Men wielding firearms could be seen in the video shooting at some individuals. Here are details of the statement, and you're going to have that on your screen, and there you have it. It says police arrest 16 suspects over a shooting incident at Asamang Tamfo in the Eastern region, where police have arrested 16 persons in connection with a shooting incident at Asamang Tamfo in the Eastern region. The incident occurred between some persons believed to be illegal miners and a community anti-Galamsey task force on 29th of September 2022. Police have retrieved one pump action gun, 2 excavators, 2 water pumps, and a battery. Efforts are underway to arrest the remaining suspects and retrieve any other weapons in their possession. The police have also seen a viral video on the incident, which is being reviewed as part of the investigation. The police would like to assure the public that all the other perpetrators will be arrested and brought to face justice. Signed by Ebenezer Tete, Superintendent of Police Public Affairs in the Eastern region. We are now joined on phone by security expert Adib Sani, who earlier spoke about this here on Metro TV. Take a listen.
And I've always stated, Annie, that a lot of these, every single Galamsey site has a gun. That's something we can run away from. And most of these guns are, illegal. Even the Chinese, who are engaged in these Galamsey have guns. And when you ask them, they tell you that sometimes when they get the gold, they are robbed, and so they need to defend themselves and all that. So for me, I'm not surprised, because if it were not a lawless area, by now we would have been able to stop Galamsey. The fact that we haven't, despite the several government efforts on operations and involvement of the military, the police, and other security services, Galamsey is still ongoing, should tell you that these areas are lawless, and we need to address it, because criminal elements who are engaged in other forms of criminality, whether it is weapons trafficking, human trafficking, and even terrorism, can take advantage of the lawless nature of the area to easily establish a foothold. Okay, so we cannot afford to allow this to happen. We have to send notice. Serve notice, excuse me. We have to send a clear signal to the effect that we are a country that is governed by the rule of law, and we're taking none of that. So I would have expected now that the police would issue a statement, action would be taken beyond the statement. So by the close of today, we would get more light into what really the facts of the matter is. Because for now, I'm getting conflicting reports.
Terrible development there as we fight Galamsey here in Ghana. And also, government has planned to put up a $10 million hospitality and tourism training school in Accra to provide customer care training to operators in the sector. This was disclosed by President Akufo-Addo, who says it was part of government's long-term plan to market Ghana as a preferred tourism and leisure destination in Africa.
The adverse impact of the COVID-19 pandemic was felt in all sectors, with the tourism and hospitality industry being one of the hardest hit. Patronage at hotels, restaurants, tourist sites took a nosedive. With a decline in the rate of infections and a near end of the pandemic, the sector is bouncing back. Government is therefore taking steps to support growth in tourism and hospitality industry through investment. Plans are underway to establish a tourism and hospitality training school in Accra to train stakeholders.
We want to use tourism as an effective tool for economic transformation, which will help to create jobs and prosperity for the people. That is why government, with the support of international partners, is investing heavily in key tourism attractions, which will in turn boost tourist arrivals this year and beyond. In line with this, we plan to build a state-of-the-art tourism and hospitality training school in Accra. A $10 million facility will serve West Africa and provide customer care training to operators in the tourism and hospitality value chain. When customers are happy and delighted, they do not only stay longer in hotels, but also spend more and likely to return in future with family and friends. Building the capacity of tourism players is therefore important in our quest to be the tourism destination of West Africa.
To attract more visitors, the government is upgrading tourist sites across the country.
This year alone, it is expected that some $25 million will be expended to upgrade some of our iconic sites, including the famous Elmina and Cape Coast castles, the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, the Mole and Kakum parks, and cultural museums in Yendi in the northern region, Ejiso in the Ashanti region, Akropong in the eastern region, and Ho in the Volta region, under the Ghana Tourism Development Project, supported by the World Bank.
The president said his government will continue to invest heavily in the sector in order to expand the economy.
And live from our studios here at Regional Accra, this is News Night. Now, need to make an urgent call, but you realize you don't have credit, or your very important conversation was cut short because you ran out of airtime. Cut the stress, because all you have to do on MTN is dial *506# and you get to borrow credit on MTN Extra Time. The best part is you can borrow data by dialing the same number, *506#, and you can bundle data whenever you run out. To continue on browsing, as always, your conversations don't need to end. Borrow extra time now and enjoy the things you love on your favorite network, MTN. There's more news coming up here. Stay with us.
The Secretary Youth, we are on it because the promises that he made, in which we followed him and voted for him, that is what we are demanding account for. Simple as ABC. We are not fighting the MP or his colleagues or whatever.
Welcome back. Now, residents of Second D constituency have slammed their MP Andrew Ejapa-Mensah for his recent comment that he cannot solve all of the constituency's challenges if he is given 100 years. The residents have vowed to vote him out in the next elections for his comments.
The Member of Parliament for Second D constituency, Andrew Ejapa-Mensah, has incurred the wrath of some residents of the constituency for publicly saying he cannot solve all problems in the area in 100 years. His comment follows concerns for the demand for accountability by a section of the residents of Second D. According to the public relations officer of the various youth group, Michael Grant Hayford, the MP has failed to fulfill his promises after 6 years of being an MP of the constituency.
We are asking the honorable member to make an accountability to the good people in Sekendi based on the promises that he made to the good people in Sekendi? That is what we are asking the honorable member. So I don't know why he come up by saying that in the first place. And if we give you 100 years, you can't fix our problems, why are you not resigning? Why are you still on the seat? You need to resign. I have these flyers on me, which I can show to you. This is the promise that he made. He promised the good people in Sekendi. But none of them that he has been able to achieve. So he can't point something here in Sekendi that is the achievement of honorable member. No, there's nothing like that. There's no achievement here.
Some believe the MP overreacted when the youth group was demanding accountability.
He's a leader, so he shouldn't be talking like that in public. So all what we are asking for is for the accountability. We need to run account for the good people of Sekendi. We are not fighting him. We are a group, about 7 groups together. We have come together to collaborate with him so that he will run account for the good people of Sekendi.
Francis Ehinson is also a member of the pressure group.
The Sekendi youth, we are on it because the promises that he made, in which we followed him and voted for him, that is what we are demanding account for. Simple as ABC. We are not fighting the MP or his colleagues or whatever.
And now, fisherfolk in Sekendi Takoradi in the western region have accused Chinese nationals of hijacking the country's fishing industry with all kinds of illegal fishing practices. According to the fisherfolk, these foreign nationals who own vessels connive with Ghanaian business tycoons to engage in illegal and unregulated fishing.
Many of these vessels you see here are largely owned by Chinese and other foreigners, including South Koreans who are operating in Ghana's territorial waters. Although Ghana has no official or bilateral fishing agreement with China, its nationals have bypassed Ghanaian laws and actively engaged in illegal fishing businesses. These unpatriotic Ghanaian business tycoons, the fisherfolks observed, go into high purchase agreement under which the Chinese bring their vessels to Ghana, register them in the name of Ghanaians and use the Ghana flag as if they are local vessels, but in reality, the owners are Chinese.
I don't know what was up one another woman kilometers are what back at 100 kilometers mama won't be more because on what in a day into the man one someone be one way you man and no we are difference me no muyano and so I want to say what about pin one I'm not sure why be there every in one up on a walk on into a cocoa store now and I mean weapon on in a China from wire and curtains why are money curtains only don't open the muscle. Nti ya srempe yufunu even for China boy tinala wadi kopumu wa hano wacho obi na ya wacho hu ewresi wacho obi mana akoswa na mpede mbisa na China funu waya mfansefa.
The foreign vessels are manned only by Chinese, who are the technical operators and instructors on the vessel, a factor confirmed by installers of trackers into fishing vessels for all the fisherfolks.
Man, I don't know why I'm a sound of Funaya you want to go. Ulege, you man, what I'm saying. Nini wako no working yeska, yako yeska, and job again on the swag. Joan, and the assembly for an aquafado, ya, unicity, ya, mana, be ya tui. You put British chat, papa. Yay! Achimomo happened by Achimomo, yes, I ain't got a ganta, yakonko. Gas oil in Jumun talk. Apunanga says you come so Chinese fire Jaffa. Aja, what a China, Yibia, what I'm a China for. What on your word, man, and I say, when you want to say, no small girlie. Want to know what to work China, I get a man. No, if you are saying, I see Apunanga says, so tell Madame China for now. No, you want to change and we are in CB.
Opening Kofi Yena is the 2004 national best fisherman.
Ghana. Eco fish say bottom troll, never petrol, never palaga. Ghana use palaga. We use a bottom troll, yepa, you, sukwe, tantra, abrawa, only number tolling upper, but tolling pa, eban, on park on pay, only a pieces long, on coffee slow.
Electricity Company of Ghana has notified customers that due to technical challenges affecting the smooth service provision to prepaid customers, it will extend its working hours at all district offices this weekend. Many ECG customers have for the past 3 days struggled to purchase credit on their prepaid meters either by using the ECG app or from vending outlets. This situation has left some affected customers stranded, while some businesses have also taken a hit. Following complaints from customers, ECG indicated that customers in the Greater Accra, Central, Eastern, Western and Volta regions can visit ECG district offices to purchase electricity. The Electricity Company of Ghana said it will extend its working hours at all district offices from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, October 1, 2022 and Sunday, October 2, 2022. ECG once again assured its customers that its team is working assiduously to rectify the anomaly and ensure a smooth service provision. We'll take another break. When we come back, business will be on. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Newsnight Live on Metro TV. My name is Winston Taki. And now to first business story. The Cocoa, Coffee and Shea Nut Farmers Association of Ghana has appealed to government and Cocoa Board to stop the smuggling of fertilizers to neighboring countries. Speaking at a press conference in Accra as part of activities marking tomorrow's Cocoa Day celebration, the farmers also pleaded with government to ensure farmers get adequate compensation for their work in announcing new cocoa prices for the new season.
The cost of rehabilitating diseased and unproductive cocoa farms, among others, comes as a huge cost to the industry. But we believe that in determining the price of cocoa for this year, the PPRC will be mindful of the inflationary rates in the country, the cost of inputs and services, as well as exchange rates. We also entreat government, Cocoa Board and the security agencies to deal with the reported smuggling of cocoa fertilizers to our neighboring countries. We assure our fellow farmers that we shall continue to push for their interests in the ongoing PPRC engagements. However, we plead for patience to be exercised and not give room for persons who seek their personal interests to push us to engage in activities that will destroy our industry. Let us all rally to find lasting solutions to the changes in the industry, as we have done many times before. Cocoa, Ghana, Ghana, cocoa.
Despite being a source of income to about 43% of Africa's population, informal cross-border trade is generally regarded as illegal commercialization of cross-border activities. According to the president of the Borderless Alliance, the lack of economic opportunities within the country has led to the increase in illegal activities at the nation's borders.
Because of the crazy jump in the global prices of fuel, food, and fertilizer, among many other things, you will expect that people attempt to move these goods undeclared across borders in order to achieve illicit gains or gain unfair competitive advantages over each other. So yes, illicit trade will take place, especially when prices are very volatile, and especially when you do not have the capacity to monitor what is going on across your country more closely. There are many sources and origins for the illicit trade. There is trade that comes into the country as official trade and then somehow magically metamorphoses into and finds itself across the border.
Yeah.
There are goods that are undeclared to begin with and enter into the country and then continue into another country. And there are lots of challenges which prevent actually the control of these illicit trades, one of which is the unholy alliance between those who are actually implementing or enforcing the regulations and those who are actually conducting the trade. When the law enforcer and the law taker join hands in order to commit nefarious activity, that is where you have to conduct due diligence within the authorities and to review the integrity of your agents. And I'm not just talking about a particular country, I'm talking in general. It's trust between the citizen and the...
Now, politician and businessman Dr. Papakwesi Indum is urging government to support indigenous companies in the country. According to the businessman, no country has ever developed without the help of indigenous companies. He finds it distasteful for Ghanaian government's quest to help grow foreign industries than building local ones.
Take firm steps to ensure indigenous Ghanaian control. And when I say control, I mean ownership, not just management or caretakers. Ghanaian control, ownership of the financial sector, banking, insurance, investment, pension, and others like these at all levels. It's a must. Why am I saying this? It's not because I've owned a bank or insurance company or investment company. No, it's not about me. It's about us, all of us. Because no country has prospered in this world by relying on foreign-owned financial institutions or the World Bank or the IMF. None.
Now you're all for business here on Newsnight. My name is Winston Taki. Sports will be back after this break. Stay tuned.
My name is Fayo John Quartin, and it's time for sports. CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe has arrived in the Guinean capital Conakry to finalize talks on the West African preparation for the 2025 AFCON tournament amidst political tension between the local organizing committee and the military.
Confederation of African Football CAF President Patrice Motsepe was in Guinea on Friday as questions persist about the country's ability to host the African Cup of Nations in 2025. Motsepe was to meet the leader of the country's junta, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, before leaving in the evening, according to a program for the visit communicated by the Guinean Federation. Motsepe's visit follows one in early September by a CAF mission to check on the progress of the project. His trip had given rise to speculations that CAF will remove Guinea as host or postpone the competition to 2026 or 2027. Colonel Doumbouya has pledged that the competition will take place in Guinea in 2025, said Sports Minister Lansana Bia Diallo. Motsepe is due to hold a press conference in Algiers on Saturday after a meeting of CAF's executive committee. Organizing the tournament looks like a challenge for Guinea, which lacks sports and transport infrastructure. This would be the 35th edition of the competition. Guinea has never been the host. In March, Colonel Doumbouya replaced the old organizing committee, one of whose members had publicly expressed doubt about the feasibility of the project. Colonel Doumbouya issued a decree declaring the 2025 African Cup of Nations of national interest and a priority.
Talking about the EPL, let's bring you the fixtures of match day 8, starting with the North London derby. Arsenal will take on Tottenham Hotspur. Liverpool will be at home against Brighton. Fulham will be at London against Newcastle. At St Mary's on Saturday, it will be Southampton playing against Everton. Crystal Palace will engage Chelsea in that London derby, whilst Brighton will play Brentford. West Ham will welcome Wolves, whilst Manchester United, like I told you, will travel all the way to the Etihad to play against City. Leeds United will be at Ellen Road against the Chaps from Villa Park, while the gentlemen from the King Power Stadium, that is Leicester City, will play Nottingham Forest. Well, that's your sports. My name is Fayo John Quarter. Up next, entertainment.
Now in the showbiz, Ghanaian high-life musician Kobina Kobina has announced the release of his 5th album. The 18-track album titled Fanasa is slated for release in November. Kiddy D Black, Sifa Yautog, Tulinke, Kofi Jama and Kwamina MP will make an appearance on the album. Known for his superb skill in delivering love melodies, the high-life legend is ready to warm the hearts of many with a new single titled Sweetie, scheduled for public consumption in October. Well, here are some stories making headlines on the international front.
Talks are underway in Burkina Faso to resolve a tense situation as soldiers attempted to stage a mutiny. After heavy gunfire was heard in parts of the capital, the country's leader, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Damiba, urged the population to remain calm. It is unclear if a coup attempt was in progress. The current junta overthrew an elected government in January, citing a failure to halt Islamist attacks. President Zelensky says Ukraine is submitting an accelerated application to join NATO. Kyiv's move follows Moscow's formal annexation of 4 partly occupied regions. Western states condemned Russia's illegal annexation and imposed new sanctions on Moscow. At least 25 people have been killed by missile strikes in Zaporizhzhia. Hurricane Ian is heading towards South Carolina after